Welcome back to Living United. My name is Sandra Uni. I'm the Executive Director for the United Way of the Brown County area. And as always, thank you for taking the time to just check us out and see what's new and what's happening with the United Way. I have a very special guest with me today. Her name is Kristen Walters, and she is with the CADA organization. And I'm going to leave it to her because I'm sure she can explain it much more than I can. So, Kristen, tell us, what is CADA?
So CADA is Committee Against Domestic Abuse. We do just go by CADA now because we provide free, confidential, and non-judgmental services to victims of both relationship abuse and sexual violence.
Oh my gosh, that's great. And I went on your website and I did some peeking around, and there, first of all, how many CADA offices are there?
Yeah, we have 6 CADA offices, and we serve the whole Region 9, so the 9-county area.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so there's 6 different sites, right?
Yes, so we have our main office with our administrative offices in Mankato along with our shelter, and then we have an office here in New Ulm, Waseca, St. Peter, St. James, Blue Earth, and Fairmont.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yes.
But it's what was really nice is when I was at your websites, it was easy to get through. You know,
yes.
it was a nice user-friendly link, and I was doing some exploring and clicking, and you guys offer more than just what people would think.
Right. So our advocates do such important work. So throughout the 9 counties, we do offer advocacy services, so we can help individuals with anything from filing a police report if that's what they want to do, to doing some basic safety planning. Some folks don't even know what to do, so our advocates are really good at listening, hearing what their current problems are, and helping to present some options for, like, you could try this or you could try this.
So in essence, it's helping them with some problem solving, obviously.
It is, yes.
Kind of guiding them through the process.
Yes. Our advocates also do a lot of referring to other agencies, so we try to help the folks we're serving get in touch with other basic resources. I know here in New Ulm we work closely with Ivy House and other resources, so we're often making referrals, which is why we think it's so important to have advocates in those communities, because then they know where the food shelf is or who to call at the county for this specific issue.
Just the who do I reach out to? 'Cause
right.
Sometimes that's always that's a very stressful time in their life.
Right.
I don't know about you, but I don't think as clearly when I'm under as much stress.
Yes.
So you could be that calm,
yes,
guiding voice that they need to get them through a really tough time.
That's what we try to do. We also facilitate support groups, both for domestic violence victims and sexual assault victims. And we do have the shelter in Mankato, and we have also in Mankato a supervised parenting time center. So that
nice. So tell me more about that. We'll start with that supervised
parenting time center. So that's our Keep Me Safe program, and so that is a program where families who if a parent has been ordered often by a judge to only see their child or children with supervision, we can provide that at CADA. So we work with families who maybe have a history of abuse in the family. Sometimes child protection is involved. Sometimes it's divorce, custody issues. So a visiting parent will come and see their kiddo with a safe, neutral environment so that parents aren't having to interact or put kids in the middle of conflict between adults. And it really is a great program to help kids feel safe and help rebuild or maintain a relationship between a kid and a parent.
Well, so about how often do you use that service? Do people, is it frequently
Yes, we operate a waiting list most of the time because it is such a necessary service for a lot of families, and especially for victims of abuse. Using Keep Me Safe can be a big part of their safety plan to help make sure that they are not having to come in contact with someone who has been unsafe in the past. So, and we can also facilitate exchanges there. It doesn't have to be a full visit, but if it's like a an exchange of custody for the weekend, we can do that at CADA too, at the Keep Me Safe Center, just so that kids aren't having to, witness any conflict, and that parents don't have to do that at a Walmart parking lot or
Right.
somewhere
Right.
that's not safe, or that might not be safe for that individual family.
Right, and and for the kiddos, I would imagine it just takes some of that stress away from, because kids pick up on
Yeah.
everything.
Yes.
So that way they're not having to deal with adult problems.
Right,
They
right.
can be a kid.
And that's what we try to focus on, is making sure the kids feel safe, heard, and respected the entire time. So yeah, that's our Keep Me Safe program.
That's fantastic. I love that. Now, is that in all of the locations, or is it just Mankato?
It's just in Mankato. We used to have a center here in New Ulm, but we did have to move locations, and so we had to close down that center. So it is just in Mankato now. We also used to have a location in St. Peter, but for now, Mankato.
Okay. Now, you mentioned shelter. Now,
Yes.
this was the first time I had spoken with someone from CADA. I had no idea that this
Yeah.
shelter existed. And working what I do with United Way, you'd think I would have known that, but I didn't.
Right.
So tell us
Yeah.
more about what that shelter does.
So the shelter is for women and children, and we have 22 beds, and it's 12 bedrooms, but we can open rooms, adjoining rooms. So if there's a large family, we can make 2 bedrooms, 1 big bedroom. And so we can house 22 people, but with rollaway beds, pack and plays for kiddos. We're often serving over 22 people in shelter. It's dorm style living. Each family or individual has their own bedroom, but the kitchen, laundry room, TV room, all of that is shared spaces. And CADA has an advocate on site 24/7, so that there's always someone available if someone needs to talk, and our advocates work with families staying in shelter to see what their goals are and what comes next, and help them do all the many things that need to happen to move on, whether it's finding a job, childcare, working through some immigration situations. They do all sorts of stuff with the families staying in shelter.
Now, I would imagine there's a wait list for that too.
We actually don't operate a wait list. It's
Don't?
first come, first serve. So if we have an opening, the first person who calls and says they have a need, we will bring them in.
Wow. Now, I know with what I do, and I answer the phone sometimes, and there's people that are requesting services, I know who I can contact quickly.
Right.
I'm sure that you guys have the same thing. You know who you can go to. And do you work closely with the law enforcement as well?
We do work with law enforcement, and every community has their own, person who they're contacting and whatnot. But yes, we do work with law enforcement. We get several significant amount of referrals from law enforcement, or county financial workers will often give us referrals. Other shelters will send folks our way. And a lot of it is just word of mouth too.
Wow. Now, for someone who might be in a situation where they would reach out to CADA,
Yeah.
you're no disclosure, right?
Nope.
It's completely private.
Everything is confidential. I mean, we are mandated reporters for
Correct.
child abuse, but we let folks know that up front. But yes, everything is completely confidential. There's no requirement to report anything to the police or anyone. And we're available 24/7. We
That's
have an advocate
amazing.
ready to answer the phone or chat online any time of day.
That is amazing. It's much needed.
It's incredibly needed. I think on average every year we're serving around 2,000 people. So, and that's just here in Region 9.
That's a really big number to get your head around.
It's a really big number. It's a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, sometimes I get people that will say, is there really a need for that in the New Ulm area?
Right.
And yeah,
There is. And it's not always a visible problem because it happens in people's homes most of the time. So it's unseen and unheard, but our advocates are hearing it and seeing it. And it is a big problem. It's a problem everywhere,
it is.
unfortunately. But in small towns, big towns, everywhere, it's going on. So we just want to be sure folks know we're here to help.
Okay, so what if someone uses the CADA services and things get simmered down and things are going okay, but an emergency comes up and there's a return. Can they come back
Absolutely.
to CADA again?
Absolutely.
It's not like a one and done.
No.
You can,
Nope, we've had folks we've worked with for years and years because abuse is a cycle and it's hard to get out of and it keeps happening sometimes. So we understand that it's not a leaving an abusive relationship is not a one-time event. It takes time and planning, and people return for many different reasons to an abusive relationship. Or sometimes people get into a new relationship and then there's abuse happening then. So some people just need us one time and need us for maybe a week's worth of advocacy, and some folks we're working with for many years.
Okay.
And we've had a lot of people come to shelter more than once. It's tough to see, but it's also very good to know that they feel safe coming back and that they got the help they needed and want to keep working with us. So.
and there's a lot to be said for that, the confidentiality part.
Yeah, and I think there's no judgment with our services. There's a lot of judgment out in the world for victims or anybody, but we try to maintain a non-judgmental attitude. We don't know why anyone is in the situation they're in, and it's not our place to make judgments, so we're just here to help.
But you're a safe place to land.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is most important.
Yes.
What an amazing service you guys have.
It's needed, and we have great people. We have great people, advocates working 24/7. So people are in good hands. They've
That's
got a good
great.
team.
Now, how long have you been with CADA?
I've been with CADA 13 years.
So you've been through it. You've seen
Yes.
the ups and downs and the
Yeah.
cycles and all of that.
Yes, I worked in our shelter for probably 6 or 7 years. So I was an advocate before doing fundraising and communications now. But yeah, I was an advocate for many years, answering
Wow.
the 24-hour line and helping people apply for housing, all of that stuff.
Now, speaking of fundraising, you don't have anything currently in the trenches right now as far as fundraising. But
Yeah.
what if someone today watches us, watches this, and here's what we have to say to each
Yeah.
other, and they want to either volunteer or donate? What are their options?
So while we don't have any fundraising events coming up, we are always fundraising. We do rely on our community for support. It's an issue that affects entire communities, and we believe it takes entire communities to support survivors. If people want to donate or volunteer, they can visit our website. There's easy ways to make donations right on the website, or find out what's on our wish list of items we might need. And then if people have time, talents, expertise they want to share with us, we are always looking for volunteers too. Anyone from folks who want to go through really extensive training to do more advocacy volunteering, to folks who want to come help us get the mail and do more administrative behind the scenes stuff.
Which are equally important.
Yes.
On a whole different level.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've also had volunteers do things like make quilts and blankets for families staying in shelter, or just anything people want to offer. There's no wrong way to help.
That's great.
Yeah.
I like how you say that.
Yeah.
There's no wrong way. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
All right. So again, I had not been to your website in a while, and so it was really fun. I started to do this deeper dive because it was just so much information on there.
Yeah.
But it was really eye-opening. And so if people want to go to your website,
Yes.
what is your address?
Our website is www.cada, so CADAMN like Minnesota.org.
Great. And is there a business line?
Yep, we have our phone number 507-625-8688, and then if people need that 24-hour advocacy support, they can also call our 24-hour helpline at 1-800-477-0466.
Fantastic. And a landline or a regular phone number would be?
Yeah, the 1-800 number will get you to any of
Everything.
our people, business, or advocates.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And they can go on the website.
Website is also
There's
great.
so much information there.
Yeah,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for coming and sharing Living United with us.